30 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo signed a contract extension with Al Nassr, keeping him playing until 2027, earning over 200 million euros per year. That's 548,000 euros per day, 22,000 euros per hour, even while he's sleeping. And I make that kind of money in, I'd rather not do the math on camera, but please subscribe. This will be Cristiano Ronaldo's last chance to grab a World Cup trophy and complete football, unless he plays in 2030, which you're not going to play in 2030, right, Cristiano? Right? So today we're taking a look at the numbers, the legacy, the greatness, and break down whether CR7's last dance is going to end in glory or heartbreak. Let's start with the undeniable facts. Cristiano Ronaldo is incredible. He has scored over 900 goals in over 1,200 appearances. He has the record for the most Champions League goals in history, the record for the most international goals in history, not just for Portugal, for any country in the world. He's got 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's got 5 Champions League titles. He's won the Nations League twice in 2019 and in 2025, and he has a Euros under his belt with Portugal. So it's not like he's had a lack of success in the international career by any means. He's the first and only player to score in 5 different World Cups, and next year he could extend that record to 6, making it what I would see as completely unbreakable. Even at Al Nassr, despite the lower level in Saudi Arabia than in the top 5 leagues of Europe, he has 82 goals in 90 appearances. Considering his age, that is something that even players half his age would be dreaming of. Despite all of his greatness and achievements, Cristiano Ronaldo still has one glaring, large, World Cup-sized hole in his legacy. In 2006, Portugal were knocked out in the semifinal, but he was still young and had plenty of time to develop and grab this sacred trophy. But in 2010, they were knocked out by Spain in the round of 16, who did end up going on to win the World Cup, so not the worst case scenario. But then in 2014, they were knocked out in the group stage against the USA, and as a US men's national team fan, might I say, that's embarrassing. In 2018, knocked out by Uruguay, and in 2022, knocked out by Morocco. And so he's actually never made the final. In fact, his best run came in 2006, and it just hasn't gone uphill since. In fact, Cristiano Ronaldo has played the 5th most amount of matches that any player has ever played in the World Cup, but doesn't even crack the top 25 in goals scored. And 2 of those players that have played more matches played center back. So it's not a great record, especially when you compare it to the rest of his career. But the criticism doesn't just come from the results. Does Cristiano Ronaldo have the same leadership and clutch gene that he has had with his club teams over the years? Time and time again with Real Madrid, winning Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo shined through in the biggest moments. Has that happened with Portugal? Well, many would say no. And at 41 years old, does he have the talent and ability to keep up with the rest of the world's best center backs to actually lead Portugal to a World Cup? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Saudi Pro League. It's no Premier League, it's no Serie A, it's no La Liga. It's a very much lower level, and you may argue that Al Hilal made a run in the Club World Cup. It's not as bad as we think, but Al Hilal are dominantly the best team in that league. And even Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr have played Al Hilal 8 times during his tenure. They have won just 1 of those matches. Al Hilal is not a great representation of the entire league. It's like saying that PSG is the standard for Ligue 1. It's not. It's just one team at the top, which Cristiano Ronaldo has yet to prevail against in any big competition. So Al Hilal cannot be the standard that we use for the entirety of the Saudi Pro League. And even though 82 goals in 90 games is still fantastic, it's not comparable to playing against the likes of Virgil van Dijk on weekend to weekend. When it comes to scoring in the Saudi Pro League, Alexander Mitrovic has scored at about the exact same rate as Cristiano Ronaldo this year, and he doesn't even start for the Serbian national team over Dusan Vlahovic. And on top of that, even Julian Quinones has dropped 20 goals in the league this year, and you don't even know who that is unless you keep track of third-choice Mexican national team strikers. So the point is, it doesn't really prove much about his scoring record in Saudi Arabia on whether he's ready to take on some of the best teams in the World Cup with Portugal. But what does show that he's ready might actually be his time. playing for the Portuguese national team this year in the Nations League. But before we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo's time with Portugal, or what time is left, we have to talk about why Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing in the first place, because you have to admit, it's not common for a 40-year-old to sign a 2-year contract extension, though when somebody throws nearly $500 million in your face, I'm sure it makes the decision a little bit easier. But is his motivation at this point in his career truly just money? I don't think it is. Is it team pride? Is it national pride? I honestly do not think it is. I think a lot of this comes down to self-ego, and that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. But the truth is, Lionel Messi is chasing Cristiano Ronaldo in many different records. And of course, Lionel Messi did just add the World Cup to his trophy cabinet, the one thing that Cristiano Ronaldo is missing. Lionel Messi has surpassed him in goal contributions in far less games, but Cristiano Ronaldo still holds on to more goals than Lionel Messi by about 50. He has more hat tricks than Lionel Messi by about 7. He's got the same amount of international hat tricks, and these are records that if Cristiano Ronaldo were to retire 2 years before Lionel Messi, that they could potentially be broken. And so Cristiano Ronaldo wants to secure his fate. He wants to make sure that these records are his at the time he retires and can't be broken just a few months or years later by Lionel Messi. Now, there are players like Kylian Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, even Erling Haaland, who are coming for some of these guys' records already. But to have the consistency that Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo did throughout their career is unheard of and unlikely for any of these young stars. Even though they're already on track to break some records, especially like the UCL goal record, Erling Haaland is hot on Cristiano Ronaldo's tail. The World Cup goals record that was set by Miroslav Klose is probably going to be broken by Kylian Mbappe by the time he retires, and Lamine Yamal, who knows what could be done by the end of Lamine Yamal's career. But there are certain things that Cristiano Ronaldo wants to make sure of before he retires, and if he retires before Lionel Messi, they are at large. And I do think that this plays a factor in Cristiano Ronaldo's decision to continue playing for several more years. But does his motivation, being self-ego, actually hurt Portugal at all? Well, it doesn't really if his true desire is to win a World Cup with Portugal. And that really is his true desire. That is what's missing. And so if Cristiano Ronaldo's desire is to win the World Cup, not just to score goals, not just to get starts, then Cristiano Ronaldo's contribution to Portugal is going to be nothing but positive. But Cristiano Ronaldo has never taken second fiddle to anybody. He is a player that is going to demand to start, and he has the influence to maybe get his wish. And a lot of people say that that's hurting Portugal, and that Gonçalo Ramos, who just won the treble with PSG and has been playing pretty well, deserves to start at the 9 for Portugal, or that Rafael Leao could slot back into striker like he used to play for Lille before moving to left wing at AC Milan. But here's the facts. Cristiano Ronaldo in the Nations League A scored against Scotland, and then he scored against Croatia, and then he scored against Poland twice, and then he scored against Poland again, and then he scored against Denmark, and then he went to the semifinal and he scored against Germany, the winning goal, and then he scored against Spain, the game-tying goal. This man scored at least once against every single nation that Portugal came up against in the Nations League, and every single one of those games I just mentioned happened between October of 2024 up until now. This is just like the last 8 months. Cristiano Ronaldo has been the top goal scorer, not just for Portugal, but second in the Nations League. And you can argue that he's not at his form of Real Madrid anymore, and he's not. But this man is still efficient, and he's still got the ability to take Portugal to the World Cup. Here's the deal. He just won the Nations League with Portugal. Everybody that was doubting him beforehand may have had a point, but he just shut everybody up. I don't think that there is anyone else that should even be considered to be starting at the 9 for Portugal going into this World Cup. This is a man on a mission. This is a man that has proved himself time and time again, and even at 40 years old, continues to prove to the world that he can compete against the best teams and the best defenders. So do Portugal, this team, the same team that just won the Nations League, have a chance to win the World Cup? Well, I would say that the odds are long, but not too long. The favorites have to still be Spain, France, even Brazil sneaking their way into the conversation, and teams like Argentina and Germany you cannot write off, but Portugal are right up there with them, and with a good run of form like we saw over the last few months, it's absolutely possible. So that's my impartial analysis. You don't have to worry about it. I'm a Borussia Dortmund fan and a US men's national team fan. I've got no dog in this fight, but Cristiano Ronaldo deserves some respect. If you guys enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe to Nitro Football, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.